Must give 48-hour notice. We've moved several times for my husband's career, so I haven't really had a career of my own. Just a series of jobs. Some were great. Some were crappy. This happened at one of the crappy places where I worked as a lowly customer service rep. I was late 40s. Very dependable. And my manager Anne called me her ideal employee. Never had any customer complaints. Never tardy. Sick once in 3 years. Submitted many time and money-saving ideas. Always worked late when asked. I worked 32 hours a week. Monday through Thursday. So I was typically the one she asked to work late since everyone else was full-time and no overtime was involved if I worked a few extra hours. I was having migraines and my doctor could see me the next afternoon. I asked Anne if I could leave 2 hours early the next day to go to the doctor. She said work was slow that week and no one else was off. So yes. But since I was giving less than 48 hours notice, it counted as unexcused and I would get a written warning. I said that I was giving 24 hours notice and we were slow and fully staffed. So I just didn't get why there would be a warning. 4 warnings in 6 months and you were terminated. They didn't care if you had a doctor's excuse. Tardies were a warning. Calling in sick. Returning late from lunch. It was not difficult to get 4 in 6 months. Anne said that it was a matter of her having to shift the schedule around. It was inconsiderate to not plan ahead and she didn't want to set a precedent and be taken advantage of. I went to the appointment, got the warning, and was ticked off about it. But I decided I would be happy to comply with their petty policy in my own malicious way. I didn't have to wait very long. A couple weeks later, Anne came to me an hour before closing and said she had a stack of orders that had come in via Amazon and they needed to be put in that day. The phones had been busy, so the reps who normally entered orders didn't get to them. Could I stay and put them in? I said I really had no other plans. But I'd been thinking about what she'd said about giving 48 hours notice when asking someone to change their schedule. And she was right. It does lead to them taking advantage of you. So I would be willing to stay late 2 days from now. But I can no longer stay late on such short notice. But I didn't know that I'd need you until just now. Oh, I totally understand. It's like when I was having migraines and needed to get into the doctor as soon as possible. I think I deserve the same consideration that you deserve. If you give me 48 hours notice, I am happy to stay. She was speechless. She had to pay someone else overtime to stay. A couple days later she thought she'd get back at me when she told me that I could not remain part-time and would have to start working Fridays the following week. I calmly told her that the following Thursday would be my last day then. By that afternoon she changed her mind and I could stay on my current schedule. Sounds like a shitty boss who doesn't value people over towing the corporate line. It's really not that hard to be respectful and get the same in return. No joke. This is seriously one of the best malicious complaint stories I've heard on this sub. This is so perfect. Good on you for standing up for yourself. I love every single part of this lol. What's with companies and stupid rules that have no flexibility? For some reason we love dumbing things down instead of holding the manager accountable too. Critically think about the nuance in each situation. That company doesn't deserve you. Honestly, my hackles started to raise at sick once in 3 years. I'm not sure why attendance policies are legally allowed to punish people for being sick, and it's one of the harsh realities of labor abuse that makes me hate being an adult in the US. Good on you for turning her bullshit around on her. I love it. It's like she thought she held all the cards. Until you lay down your hand and she had absolutely nothing. How any country can give a warning for being sick and that be legal is beyond me. Nice. What a crappy boss. Any manager who flouts authority because of legitimate health problems is simply a piece of shit. Good on ya for standing up for yourself. Crosspost this to our anti-work lol. This is so satisfying. I love when managers realize that they can't bully you into doing their bidding. And that if you're unhappy with your job, you can just leave lol. Training your shitty boss is hard work. She didn't learn as fast as some of them, but good work. Since I was giving less than 48 hours notice, it counted as unexcused and I would get a written warning. Stupid manager and a very stupid person. She had no reason to do that beside my authority, and rules are rules, no humanity in her managing. Yes. This is so satisfying. I love that she tried to punish you and then you got her again. I especially like that you told her you had no other plans, but wouldn't stay anyway. I'm sorry. I still can't get over America work laws. We just passed a law for 10 days sick leave a year. No questions. Several years ago we went from 15 to 20 days annual leave. We get about 11 stat days as well. If they make you work on stats you get time and a half and a day off in lieu. I am sorry you have a shitty manager. I employ 2 women in the trade. Plumbers. They work their asses off all the time. I give them all the time they want off. If they're sick they better stay home. I don't want to get sick. I give them bonuses all the time for working above and beyond. They could not work for 4 months and I still make money for 8 months. You are only a shitty boss if you let yourself be a shitty boss. I have actually had this type of issue with a doctor's office. They had a policy that there was a $40 charge if you canceled an appointment with less than 24 hours notice. There was a big sign on the wall in their waiting area about it. So one day their office called me about an hour before our appointment to reschedule because the doctor had to run to their child's school to deal with an issue. I had already taken time off in order to be at the appointment. And I remembered their policy. I wasn't actually mad at the doctor. I understand that these things happen. But if that was their policy, it should go both ways. So when I came in for the rescheduled appointment and asked them how we're going to pay me the $40 fee, they looked really confused and I had to point out their policy that was prominently posted on their wall and remind them that they had canceled my appointment with only 1 hour notice. The receptionist finally told me that they would have to ask the office manager about it and they would get back to me later. Strangely enough, they never did get back to me. I'm surprised you stayed. People like that never change. You might have got one up on her, but she'll mark your cards, bide her time, and treat you badly again. I had a job that tried to tell me if you were going to be sick. You had to tell them the day before. I laughed and ignored them. How the hell am I going to know I will be sick the next day? Another time they told me that if I was going to be 10 minutes late, they would take an hour off my pay. I told them that if they're going to do that, then when I'm 20 minutes late I just won't come in instead. I don't work for free. They changed their minds. Oh man, I just love that you have to come in Fridays. Fine, Thursday is my last day, move. Yas, this was perfect. I loved every second of it. Heart. If they're just following the rules then they aren't managers. They're merely implementing what someone else thought up. A manager, possibly paid more than me, should be able to take my situation advice or information and mull it over and make a decision. A computer program can implement rules and won't cost as much per hour. Whenever I read something like this, it makes me appreciate being Australian. My employer actively discourages anyone coming to work if they are sick. Even pre-pandemic. They take the view that you will recover quicker if you rest, and they don't want you spreading whatever you've got to other employees.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.